My son moved into a new apartment and he asked me to build him a bookshelf. This is where the shelf is going to go. He sent me this picture with a little bit of annotation on it. So the space is the 15 by 18.5 inch space where the mirror is. If you look down at the floor, you'll see that there's an air vent. I got to deal with that later. He found exactly what he wanted online, sent me a picture of it, and I sketched it up here. I'm using 1x8 pre-treated pine for everything in the shelf. The shelf itself is 55 inches tall, and each piece of wood is, of course, 7¼ inches wide. The shelves themselves are about 14 inches long, and I join them together in pairs at 90-degree angle. Then rotate them and put a bunch of them together to make a zigzaggy kind of pattern. All right, so my pre-stained pine 1x8. The first section I'm going to cut is the back. The back is going to be 55 inches tall. Now, I'm not too worried about being exact, but I do want to make the shelves repeatable. So the first mark is going to be at 55 inches. Okay, there we go, 55. Now let's cut it on the radial arm saw. So here's my 1x8. What I learned recently is that a better way to use the radial arm saw is not to pull it out, but to push it in. That way the saw itself does not tend to ride uphill and come out at you. So I'm going to get this set up. Okay, I've got my safety glasses on. Now, let's make the first cut. So that was the back. Now I've got to cut the individual shelves. The individual shelves are about 20 inches long each. I need 9 of them. So to make the cuts repeatable, easy, and all the shelves to be uniform, I'm going to set up a block on my radial arm saw. It's about 20 inches. There, now we'll be able to cut uniform, repeatable shelves. So now I've got all the pieces. I've got 9 shelves, and I've got the back. This is 55, those are about 20. Now we could start drilling the holes and putting them together, but I have to think about the base. The base was originally going to be a box, but I found out from looking at the photo, the picture of the space where it's going to be, that I need to accommodate an air vent. So my idea for what the base is going to be changed slightly. I'm going to lower it a little bit, but I'm also going to leave the bottom open so that the air vent isn't blocked and the air can get into the room. Let me show you what I mean. I took a piece of wood over to the tool crib and laid out the top, sides, and back of the base. So you can see I've got the base top with a notch cut out of it. The back of the whole shelf fits into the notch. And then I've got the sides and the back. There is a front here, and this front piece I actually cut an arch in with my saber saw. The bottom line is that the base has this open front so that the air can get into the room. So all the shelves have been cut, the base pieces have been cut, and now I'm using the Craig jig to drill the pocket holes for the screws. Alright, we're back at it. I've got all the pieces cut. I've done a little bit of sanding, and now I'm ready to assemble them. So I've got a handful of shelves like this, pocket holes drilled, ready to be placed. I've got my polyurethane glue. I've got a little sponge and some water here to moisten the wood, makes the polyurethane glue grab faster. Got my drill with the right bit, the screws, and I'm ready to go. Let's start some assembly. So I've already put the bottom shelf in place. I'm going to show you the next one here. I made myself a little spacer block with the right dimensions here, so I've got everything exactly right, and I'm using my my framing clamp to make sure that the shelves are at right angles, because you know sometimes it may get a little bit wonky while I'm putting the screws in. I want to hold it tight while I do that. So first I'm going to moisten the edges a little bit. Now I've roughed them up so that the polyurethane is going to stick. It's got some stick too. And now I'll just add a little bit of my polyurethane. Love this stuff. You know, you don't have to use the sponge, the damp sponge, but I like to because sometimes you get a little dry here, especially this time of year. It's not summer anymore, so I want to make sure that I don't have a problem with my polyurethane. Alright, so there's my spacer block, tells me I got the right spacing. I'm going to put my clamp in, my framing clamp. Using my block appropriately here. Just make sure I get that in the right place. Alright, there we go. There's that. Alright, block's in place. Clamps in place. I'm going to make a little adjustment. Just a little adjustment. Little adjustment. There we go. The first one's going to be a little bit different because I'm not going to the end of the bottom of the shelf it's attaching to it, but I'm going to the edge of the backer. Alright, now I'll just put in a few of these screws and we should be good to go. Clutch kick in, that's good. Put in one that way, one this way. Nice. Alright, last one. I'm going to loosen this clamp so I can get in there a little bit. Since I got the screws going that way in place, I don't need the clamp anymore. Alright, there's one shelf. Next one coming up. So all the pocket holes are drilled, the shelves are assembled. I plugged the pocket holes with hardwood and then filled them, the tops with wood putty, sanded nice and clean. And now I'm finishing up the first coat of my oil-based enamel. I'd forgotten how hard it is to paint with oil-based enamel, especially on wood. But after this dries, I'll give it a sanding and get a second coat on it. And it'll probably give me a really good finish.